Oh, nice. Nice trout. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. That is her. Look at that fish right there.
If you are not fishing in these types of areas right now this winter for trout, you're missing out on some great fishing, and that is the backwater creeks. In this video, I'm going to show you where in these creeks you need to be fishing and the techniques that you need to be using in order to put more fish in the boat. Now, in order to understand why these creeks are going to be so good, we have to understand what the fish want. Their basic needs are they want to be comfortable and they want to be able to eat. In the summertime, the food and the comfort is out in the open flats and out in the bays. They have the finfish out there. That is the type of diet they're going to be having, and also with the wind blowing, it's going to have the coolest water. But in the wintertime, it's the exact opposite. The bait starts to thin out as far as the finfish, and what happens is they switch to a crustacean diet. They're looking for crabs and they're looking for shrimp, and where that is being hatched is going to be in the back creeks in the marshes. So that's one of the reasons why they're going to be back there. The other reason is for comfort. What happens in the wintertime as these fronts come through, these water temperatures are going to drop and they need to find that warmer, more stable water, and that is going to be in these deep pockets that are going to be in the creeks. And another reason why they like that is they like this consistent water temperature, and the deeper the water, the less effect that this weather is going to have on it. So they have that for them, and they don't have to travel very far to get it. So they stay in these creeks all winter long. Now let's go to the map, and I want to show you exactly where we're talking about, where you need to be fishing in these creeks. So this is the example what we have. We have a marsh system right here that's got a main river that's flowing through it, and you've got these feeder creeks. Now these feeder creeks are the places that these fish are going to get up to, and particularly the spots are going to be the bends of these creeks right here. So the sharper the bend that you get, typically the deeper the water that you get on the outside of that bend, and that's what these fish need in order to be comfortable whenever that cold front comes through. So during the warming trends of the winter time, these fish are going to have some shallow water and they're going to be able to feed, but then whenever that front comes through and that temperature drops, this gives them some deep water without having to travel very far in order to be comfortable. So these are the type of places that we're looking for. Matter of fact, this is the Smart Fishing Spots app that we're looking at. This is the page right here, and what I want to do is go ahead and pull up the layers right here, and I am going to click on Smart Spots, and as you can see, this actually gets highlighted, and what that means is this is highlighted as a Smart Fishing Spots. Now, if you're unfamiliar with what Smart Fishing Spots is, this is an app that we have out there that's going to help anglers find some spots and also use this technology to help them find spots on their own. So this is something that's really cool. But as you can tell, this is actually marked as a Smart Fishing Spot. Now let's talk about some lures and some techniques that you need to be using whenever you're fishing these bends of these creeks. Now, one of my favorite lures to use in a warming trend is going to be a paddle tail, a small paddle tail at that. So this is our 2.0, what we call our 2.0. It's a 3.5-inch paddle tail. This happens to be a darker color. This is the Gold Digger. You could use darker colors, you could use lighter colors. Really depends on what your confidence lure is, but there's hardly few things that work better than a 3.5-inch paddle tail in the wintertime in these creeks. So that's a good one to use. And also some of the crowd favorites are going to be twitch bait. So we have the Rapala X-Wrap. This is a suspending bait that works really good on trout in these creeks. And then also the Meridine. This one works really, really good, and it's a popular one now. These are good for when it comes to warming trends. Now, when it comes to cooling trends, what we need to do is we need to fish on the bottom, we need to downsize, and we need to fish really, really slow. And that's when I like using these shrimp imitations. These are what we call, this is our prawn. This is in a junior size, which is our 3.5-inch. I'm going to put these on a jig head with enough weight to get it down on the bottom to keep it in place depending on the current, and I'm going to fish it really, really slow whenever the water is the coolest. Now, this happens to be the natural color. This works really good in any water clarity. This is a darker one, but really, again, that comes with your confidence. So whatever you like, whatever shrimp imitation you like and whatever color, go ahead and use those. But remember, we want to fish slow, we want to fish slow, and we want to downsize. Now, there are going to be certain times of the winter that the fish are going to be feeding aggressively, and that's when I like to go up to larger baits that I can fish more aggressively. So something like the Corky works really good, or the Mulligan, which is our 4-inch paddle tail. So larger baits if you notice that the fish are feeding more aggressively, but that's going to be certain times of the winter. Most of the time you're going to be going downsizing, but there are some times you can get away with a larger bait. So if you're having issues with catching trout this winter, or if you just want to try something new, then I highly recommend going into these back creeks, fishing these deeper bends, and using some of these lures and techniques that I talk about, and I bet you'll be surprised at how well you do. And if you're interested on tips on how to catch more fish in between cold fronts, click on the link to the video down below.